OTAs rolls on for your Seattle Seahawks over the next several days. And on this edition of Seahawks Today, I have my list of top 10 players to watch throughout OTAs that I want to see a little something from over the next stretch as the Seahawks install their new offense and defense. We'll go over that complete list in just a moment. Quick survey for the 12s out there. I want to know how many of you have ever been to a Seahawks game at Lumen Field. If so, like the video and comment when you made it out to Lumen Field. I know you guys have had some great memories over the years. If you haven't made it out to Lumen Field, that's okay too. Let me know in the comments section when you've been to Lumen Field. Like the video if you've been there before. All right, let's start with our players to watch, beginning with the one and only Byron Murphy, the Seahawks' first-round pick out of the University of Texas. And I got to tell you, I'm so excited about this guy, but I have some questions when it comes to Byron Murphy. First off, is he going to get into football shape sometime soon? Because if you recall, when he showed up at rookie minicamp, right away we heard Mike Macdonald say he's got to cut some weight, that he's fat, and then he's got to get in better football shape going forward. So I want to know, is Byron Murphy at the size and weight that Mike Macdonald wants him to be at? And then what's his role exactly going to be? Because right now, when you look at the Seahawks defensive line, there's a lot of question marks because we've heard that they're going to run this kind of 3-4-4-3 hybrid defense. And then you still got Jarran Reed, and we've heard the rumblings about Draymond Jones potentially moving to the edge rusher spot. And then where does that leave, guys like Leonard Williams and others? How do you make this all mix up and work? And where does Byron Murphy factor into this equation? Is he going to play well enough that he earns a starting job right away? I got a lot of questions. I want to see what they have in store for Byron Murphy. And it's not even all just about Byron Murphy. I want to see what the coaching staff has in mind for Byron Murphy over the next coming days here with OTAs with Byron Murphy there. Next on the list is Sam Howell. We are seeing Sam Howell on the Seahawks for the very first time in a Seahawks uniform over the last few days at OTAs, getting reps with the offense and learning the scheme and everything. Comes over from the Washington Commanders where he had an up-and-down year last year. Led the league in interceptions with 21, but threw for a ton of yards, had his moments, but was very inconsistent. And to give him the benefit of the doubt, he had the worst offensive line in football last year, so he wasn't necessarily set up to succeed there in Washington in that Eric Bieniemy offense. But here he comes to Seattle now, and I'm very curious. Is Sam Howell going to play good enough to make this a QB competition, if you will? Is he going to play good enough to show the confidence to potentially be the long-term solution for the Seahawks? I have questions about what version the Seahawks are getting of Sam Howell and if he's ready to go right from the jump here in this Seahawks offensive scheme. Do you believe in Sam Howell? It's our pinned comment today. Let us know. Are you all in or are you out on Sam Howell? Type Y for yes, in for no if you believe in Sam Howell or not. Tell you about today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Whether you're talking fantasy points, maybe it's rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey. Maybe we're talking birdies in golf. All sorts of different categories to choose from. You can mix and match different leagues. I'm looking ahead to the start of the NFL season. I got our guy DK. They have more than 1,025.5 receiving yards this season. Also going with Lamar Jackson to have more than 3,600.5 passing yards. If I put $20 down, both these hit, that's going to turn into $60 in Prize Picks, folks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Prize Picks today, and you'll be glad you did. Next on our list is Kenny McIntosh, the Seahawks' second-year running back out of the University of Georgia, 2-time national champion with the Georgia Bulldogs. And last year, we didn't hardly see Kenny McIntosh. He played 3 games in a very limited role. If you recall, he dealt with injuries throughout much of last year. But with DJ Dallas gone, Kenny McIntosh is expected to come in and be the de facto receiving back. You'll see him as a third down back. And last year, in the offseason programs, we heard Pete Carroll and the Seahawks staff speak very highly of Kenny McIntosh. They love what he brought to the table. Now I want to see, is he fully healthy? How involved will he be in this offense? I'm very intrigued to see what Kenny McIntosh is going to put together and if he can play a pivotal role in this Seahawks offense or not. And if he doesn't look great, then the Seahawks are going to look for other options potentially at that running back position. So Kenny McIntosh, a lot of pressure to get things going right away as the number 3 running back for Seattle. Next on the list is Riq Woolen. I love Riq Woolen. I really do. But I was disappointed with the product that we saw out of Riq Woolen in 2023 as he took a significant step back from what he did the year prior. He really struggled tackling. The turnovers were way down from what they were the year prior. Went from 6 interceptions to 2 interceptions this past year. His pass breakups numbers was down. He was down in almost nearly every statistic in 2023. And now you come into this Mike Macdonald defense, and we're all sitting here expecting that everybody should take a step up in this defensive scheme, that Mike Macdonald is one of the best defensive minds in all of football, right? He's been compared to Sean McVay as like the Sean McVay of defense, right? Riq Woolen is one of these guys that needs to see his play elevate. And here's the truth of the matter, folks. We're going to be completely honest with you. If Riq Woolen can't tackle, if he can't take a step forward, if he continues on the slide that we saw last year, this corner room's competitive. I mean, if he doesn't figure it out, he's going to get replaced. So Riq Woolen, I want him back to that Pro Bowl level he was the rookie season. I want him to build upon that. Pressure's on Riq Woolen to figure it out. Next up, Abraham Lucas. Now, I know this isn't the sexy pick to be going with an offensive lineman on your players to watch list, but for me, this is not necessarily about looking for Abraham Lucas to wow you in OTAs, right? There's only so much an offensive lineman could do in these type of scenarios. But what I'm looking for is that knee of Abraham Lucas. I am very, very skeptical of how that knee is ultimately going to hold up for Abraham Lucas this year. In OTAs and on through training camp is going to be a good test to see if he's fully healthy or not. Last year was never fully healthy. You saw the numbers a moment ago. They weren't good. Abraham Lucas had a down year. And you go back to his rookie season, I mean, he was comparable right up there with Charles Cross. They were mano a mano. You could have made the case that he was better than Charles Cross in their rookie season. But I'm very curious. Is he all there or not? That remains to be seen. OTA is going to be a good test to see how that knee is shaping up at this point. Next on the list, this guy may have been number 1 on some folks' list. That's Jaxon Smith-Njigba, JSN. Year number 2 for JSN. I'm very high on JSN. I think he's got the potential to work his way up to be the number 2 receiver in the Seahawks offense. We saw last year, kind of got off to a slow start. His breakout game was that Monday night game where he had the game winner against the Philadelphia Eagles. Finished up the season with 63 catches, 628 yards, and 4 touchdowns. We know that this air raid scheme, the Seahawks are going to throw the football a lot of short passing game, quick passes, and JSN should be able to thrive in that. I want to see his role increase and make an immediate impact, and I think OTAs are potentially a good opportunity to see that out of JSN. And I believe that he's got the potential, folks, to have a 1,000-yard season this year. Do you guys agree with me? Can JSN reach 1,000 yards? Let us know. Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comment section. Get your predictions in now if JSN can reach 1,000 yards or not. For the best Seahawks OTA coverage you won't find anywhere else, you got to be subscribed to Seahawks Today. That's bringing you daily news and rumors. We also, folks, starting next week on the channel, we'll be doing some Madden Sim watch parties. It's the closest thing to game day that we can give you here on the channel, folks. We're going to sim through every single Seahawks game this season, all 17 regular season games, and if they make the playoffs in our simulation, then we'll do playoff simulations as well. It's going to be a great time. Every Wednesday and Friday, we're going to be live on the channel doing these Madden Sims. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel. Never miss a moment. Lock us in, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Do subscribe now for free. Next on the list, Tyrel Dodson. A lot of excitement about Dodson coming over from the Buffalo Bills, where he was the best coverage linebacker in the entire NFL last year. He is exactly what Mike Macdonald is looking for in this defense. And we know he's taking on the green dot. He is going to be the de facto leader of this Seahawks defense in 2024. So as Dodson and this Seahawks defense goes through OTAs, how quickly is he going to pick up this scheme? How quickly is he going to embrace this role of leading this defense and getting this group on track? I think that Dodson is going to be a good measuring stick for the direction this Seahawks team is going here in 2024. Rayshawn Jenkins, this was maybe my favorite free agent signing that the Seahawks made. They got Jenkins at a relatively cheap price tag, coming off a year where I thought he was very good in Jacksonville. 101 tackles, 2 interceptions, 9 pass breakups. And think about the safeties that Mike Macdonald has worked with, right? From Kyle Hamilton to Geno Stone, who was fantastic last year, second in the league in interceptions, Marcus Williams, among others. Mike Macdonald's done very well with these safeties. I think you're going to see Rayshawn Jenkins have a very good year and thrive with what Mike Macdonald's trying to do. OTA's good opportunity for him to kind of show what he's capable of. Next up, we find Noah Fant. And I would say, folks, there is not a single Seahawks player, Geno Smith included here, with more pressure on him to perform this year than Noah Fant. Because the excuse that we've had for Noah Fant is that he was not utilized properly in the previous regime under Pete Carroll and Shane Waldron, that they ignored the tight end position, that they didn't use it to the full potential. And that goes not just for Noah Fant, but, I mean, you go even further back to the likes of Jimmy Graham and Will Dissly and among others here. Noah Fant, this guy's a former first-round pick. I think he's got the potential to be a top 10 tight end. It's put up or shut up time for Noah Fant. Time for him to put it all together and get this thing on track, and I think OTAs are a good chance for him to kind of set the tone here early. One more player to get to in a moment, but first, who's a player that's got your eye at OTAs this week and the coming weeks to follow? Name somebody that comes to mind that you think could stand out and do a really good job for the Seahawks here at OTAs. Give me a player that has got your attention. Last on the list, Olu Oluwatimi, the new starting center for the Seattle Seahawks, replacing Evan Brown, the second-year player out of the University of Michigan. We saw a small sample size of Olu Oluwatimi last year. He was very good in pass blocking, 75.5 grade. Run blocking needs some work, 50.0, but most importantly, did not allow a single sack. How quickly will he come along? Is he ready to start right away as the Seahawks starting center? Let's see what Olu's got in the tank here for 2024 and to get things going right here at OTAs. If you enjoyed today's show, if you've been to a game at Lumen Field, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today.